So remember your brain, this is why alignment's important. Your mind, your brain are two different things. But your brain's different, and I want to touch on that. Your brain's literally, like we have a switching board right here, your brain is literally just a switching board, a magnetic switching board of the information of the past. So you can't create a change unless you have a clear, defined picture of who you truly are, which is usually very different than what you are right now, right? Your future self, what you truly are. So what does that mean? How could you tap into that if your emotions are still held in the past? How can you tap into that if your body's still held into the past? You have to come into alignment. You have to. So, right, this is why there's no right or wrong way, you guys. I'm going to say this last thing on this topic. Why did I create a business where you can move your body, where you can talk about this, where you can learn this stuff, why you can breathe and integrate your actual energy? Because that's how you create alignment. It's not one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do all three, then you're never going to know which one works best for you. So for someone else, they might not want to sit here and do this breathwork meditation. That might be way too much for them to be in their body.
Right.
So what do? They might need to get on a bike. They might need to run. They might need to walk and experience that type of meditation. Does that make sense?
But that's acceptable too, right?
Yeah.
Because some people need a moving meditation.
Yeah.
Or it might take them a longer time to get
Yes.
comfortable sitting in their bodies.
Exactly.
And working through that.
Exactly. And so this teaches people that you can get into alignment in any type of way, where some people believe you can only do this one way. Or there's many people that say, if you just work out, you're not really addressing your issues. And it's like, there's so many right and wrongs, and that's just not the way the world is. That's just the 3D. That's not the way energy and spiritual energy works. So why is it important to be in alignment so that you can be a clear channel to hear everything that your higher self, which is you, is downloading to you? And when you listen to your higher self, to you, you will be in each now moment, and you'll receive the signs and the signals to make the next step. This teaches us to not live in the future, to not worry about the past, but to literally just be here now and receive what comes next. And that requires trust. So being in alignment, you guys, is what is necessary for you to actually achieve what you're asking for.
Amazing.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I was thinking about trauma, right? Because we're talking about past and how you can live through that and go on with your life, basically.
Yeah.
I always tell myself that I should not regret about my actions of the past, because there's things that you cannot control, obviously, but there's things that you do, your actions, but you do it with a mindset and knowledge that you have at that moment, right? At that time.
So huge, you guys.
And then you grow up and then you look back in those moments and you could think of, I wasn't mature enough. Why did I do this? How did I do it?
Yes.
And a lot of people create that feeling of regret.
Yeah.
Which for me, I really believe that I shouldn't regret anything and I should see that as a lesson.
Let's go.
Right?
Huge.
But a lot of people live with that, and it does happen. That's not what I wanted to say.
You're so on it.
It does create trauma.
Yeah, so it refires and hardwires the trauma, literally.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps you on that default pattern, that default program, because it's literally like a domino effect, and it's a domino going in a circle, because the same energy that creates that thought is not going to be the same energy that gets you out of it. It's just the physics, you guys. It's literally energy and how it works. And when you understand this stuff, you're literally a master of this because you practice it. But you're so right, and I'll tell you this, okay? Because what you just said was so huge. Wait, what did you say?
About the regrets?
Okay, regret. Okay, because that's
the word I forgot too. And I'm like, what?
Okay, I'll tell you what, you guys. Regret is such a big thing that so many people, that stops so many people from stepping through the terror barrier, which is what we call it, and what my clients also know it as. It's so literally when you're about to make a change, this is really important to understand. Your body's designed to keep you safe, okay? So let's say you've been through something traumatic when you were 5, 7, 10 years old, and you've grown up in this unconscious program, which let's say, okay, well, I'll explain this so you guys really understand. When something traumatic happens in your life, and a traumatic experience is literally anything in your life that causes your energy to go out of harmony or to go out of alignment, your emotional bodies to split, okay? So it doesn't have to be anything serious. It could be anything that's highly emotional. Just think of that, okay? So when that happens in your life, your brain literally takes a snapshot, literally, of that experience and the cause of that experience, and that becomes a long-term memory. So this is what you're talking about. You're saying, how come I'm here looking at my life and I'm looking back at these long-term memories, and I'm looking at the things that I've done, and as soon as you said that, this is why I'm a consciousness coach. What she's talking about, what you're talking about, Sonia, is that consciousness that you were then. That was an aspect of you. And that consciousness that you were then was doing the best they could with what they have. And now you're a more aware version of yourself. You're a higher vibration of your consciousness that has learned, that has gone through your journey and has developed your soul's wisdom of learning each lesson, because you've chosen to do that, to make it a lesson. And now you're looking back at it as the scientist of your life, which is normal, right? And you're looking at this highly emotional experience and you're like, why did I do that? What was going on there?
Right.
And if you ask yourself the why question, you will continue to be the victim of your life, because the why breeds that energy of regret, of guilt, of shame, of judgment, of duality, of right and wrong. And all of that, you guys, is the rabbit hole that will keep you in the pattern or refiring and hardwiring the same energy. Now, what does that mean when I say that? Because someone who's new might be like, what are you saying? What is refire and hardwire? Well, literally your brain's a circuit. Like I said, it's like a switching board of the information of the past. So what your mind is pure energy. Your finger is just as much as your mind, as your brain is. It's all through your body. It's the energy that you are. So what does that mean? I'll tell you this. It's a very simple example. I can be sitting here with you right now, and someone can walk past that from your past, literally walk past us from your past, and trigger you to think of that. And that could make you feel really stressed and really anxious. So automatically you had a thought because an experience and your body is feeling it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because your mind is in everything. It's moving through you in every aspect of you. That's why you feel it everywhere. That's what I talked about, you guys, the subtle bodies. You have an emotional, a mental, and a physical. It's moving through you. That's because your energy, okay? So that's what I mean when I'm saying hardwire and refire. What that means is your brain's activating based off of a thought or based off an experience. And because you're not being conscious of your ability to be a conscious creator and to choose, which is your power, free will, it's a law in the quantum field. We all have it. Because you're unaware of your power, automatically that thought, that feeling, it has circuits in the brain, neural pathways that hold all this information. So you're literally going to refire that energy moving through that system. You're going to have a thought. That thought's going to create an emotion. That emotion's going to create a behavior. And all of a sudden, the regret is causing you to now continuously to behave the same way that old consciousness was behaving. You actually are now hooked back up to that old version of you, and it happened unconsciously. People aren't aware. It happened so quickly. Right. Before you know it, you're texting your ex, you're like, oh my God, let's talk again. It's like, wait, what? Like, I don't want that. Yeah, but that consciousness was moving through you and you didn't integrate it. So it thought it was you still, and it took the wheel. So when I say hardwire, it's literally happening so quickly, and this is why it's so important, and I'll let you guys know some things to take away with this later on how you can do this work. It's so important to be aware of your thoughts, you guys. It's so important to be aware of your thoughts. Your mind, right? If you're not a master of your mind will master you. And if your mind is mastering you, your body becomes a mean of the way you believe. What does that mean? Because that could be a very big thing. So I'm feeling anxious. Okay, if I'm an unconscious human, I'm going to let my anxiousness take over. And I'm going to say I'm anxious, and I'm going to have thoughts that are going to be in coherence with that, because your brain checks in with your body and it's like, oh yeah, you are anxious. And then it's going to create more anxious thoughts, right? But if you are aware, even if your body is feeling anxious, you can start to integrate more energy to come into harmony with your mind, with your heart. And you can say, hey, although I'm feeling anxious right now, what is causing me to feel anxious? What am I thinking of? What am I feeling? What am I doing that could possibly be causing that? That is called metacognition. You're starting to become aware. And as you become aware, you can actually choose, hey, I don't want to feel regret right now. That version of me might have felt regret. And let's heal that. Why did I feel regret? Because, that wasn't truly who I was. Okay. But it happened. And it's not who you are. It's an aspect of who you were at that moment. Okay, great. Bring it in. It's not who you are. Continuously set yourself free. Remember who you are. I am the truth. I am the kindness. I am the love. I am the person who is aware that isn't me, right? That's how you become a creator. And that's how you start to be able to shift your frequency, which is how you attract new things in your life, because this world is based off of frequency, is because you're changing what you're thinking. And that's affecting what you're feeling, which is affecting what you're doing. And you're changing the cells in your body from being a low vibrational frequency to a higher frequency. That's not happening from positive thinking. That's not happening from you ignoring your problems. That's not happening for you shaming yourself of what you did in the past. That's happening because you're choosing to become aware of all of it to feel it all, to observe it all, and then to choose who you want to be, and then to have the courage to live that truth.
So you're talking a lot about being aware.
Yes.
But for people that are a little bit newer to that journey,
Yeah.
and they're not really used to this whole concept and doing that easily, I was thinking another way to say this is analyzing your feelings with a little bit of logic almost, right? Like listening to what your heart is telling you, your body's telling you, but taking a step back, not letting that overtake everything.
Yeah.
And kind of say, okay, is that a true feeling? You know, can I change it to maybe be a little bit more positive? Because that's how a lot of us think about a positive and a negative, right?
Yeah. And that can be tricky though, because that's very dualistic, and it's true. We are in a world where things are dualistic, where things are positive and negative. I'd rather say to look at it through being the observer. So just to not attach, forget about it being logical, because your heart's not going to always be logical. I'd rather you look at this as a snow globe. Whatever you're experiencing in your life, be the person looking into the snow globe. See it happening outside of you, not inside of you. Then when you can see something happening outside of you, you have a lot more ability to analyze, to witness, to see all of the factors that are causing that environment or that experience. And then you get to choose who you want to be. What feels true? That's what I want to say, because your logic is conditioning. You're not the brain. You're not the mind. You're the soul. That's very important. So if you're thinking, that's not the answer. Just understand energetics, because this is very important. The answer is not in the mind. The answer is in your soul. The soul and your heart connected. So your truth is what's going to set you free. The way to connect to your truth, if you're stuck in the illusion or you're not able to be aware, is to start to notice what you're being. Everyone's aware of something. What do you bring your awareness to? Are you becoming so aware of all the things that suck in your life, that aren't good in your life? Just start to notice with love and detachment, so that you can create a change. Because if you don't notice it with love, you will shame yourself, you will find the regret, and you'll get stuck in that cycle. So it's really more about just seeing it objectively and witnessing it all happen, feeling it without attachment, and then choosing what you want to do from there. That's when the positive comes in, right? When you get to make a choice. But if you just jump from observation to positive thinking, you're creating a Band-Aid, and that wound's going to continue. It's what people call positive, toxic positivity or something.
Yes, yeah.
But you got to be careful, because many therapists and stuff teach that same method and just call it something different. So you have to be really aware of integration. That's really the work that bridges your energy from trauma to light, or shadow to light, or density to pure freedom and energy, is being able to feel it all and not become it, and then to make a choice. Those are the three things.
And that was a really good way, or a different way, to explain how these three things that we're talking about today, the mind, body, and the soul, are so interconnected, and we have to treat all of them the same way, right?
Yes.
So we talked about signs and things that you can notice when one of these are in unalignment, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what can we do, or how can you help people bring all those things into alignment? While you were talking, I was thinking of meditation, because you were talking about detachment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was one of the first things that I thought about. But what else is there? And is that something you also do, meditation?
Yeah, so you hit it on the nail. The first thing, like if someone was to say, okay, I hear what you're saying, Charlie. I understand that if I'm not aware of my own ability to be aware of myself, then every morning I will refire the same thoughts of yesterday, because my brain is literally a switching board of the past, and I will continuously live the pattern out that I've been living. But if I'm aware that I can choose now, how do I create the change? That's what you're asking. Well, what you just said was meditation. That is literally what's going to help you create the change, because what's happening is that your brain waves, when they're vibrating in that lower frequency, they are more dense. They're different. It's a different type of chemistry that's moving through the body. It's beta waves. So this stuff is very submissive. It's the ability that you don't have. It's basically being disempowered. But when you activate this energy, you're literally bringing your vibration to a higher frequency, and you're changing the brain waves in your body. So what does this mean? You're literally going from energy to matter if you're not aware. But if you're aware, you're going from the matter that you used to be to energy. Okay. So that's huge to know, because if not, then people are going to dismiss meditation, and you have to do it. Like, that's it. You have to be in your body. There's many different ways to meditate, but if you don't meditate, then I can't help you. Nobody can help you. That's what it means to be in your body. Does that make sense? So I mean, you can go to many people, but I'm just giving you the truth. You have to meditate, and you have to figure out what that means to you. Is it going for a walk without your headphones in? Is it just sitting in nature and just being? Is it moving your body on a bike? Is it literally sitting down and not listening to anything? Is it being guided by someone to come into your body? What does it look like for you? Is it playing basketball? Is it, what is it for you? Is it snowboarding? Is it painting? What is it? What's your meditation?
And do you have to be active? Like you mentioned a lot of things. Like, do you have to have your mind activated towards one thought or one thing?
Well, meditation is actually not having your mind on anything. It's just being present in your body. So literally meditation is just, like I said, not having anything external going on. We're so taught to have the TV on, to have the radio on, to hear, to be always plugged in. But that's literally plugging you out of yourself. So meditation is literally just tuning out everything outside of you. The meditation is not thinking. That's a program. That's not it. There's so many programs, you guys. Meditation is not that. Meditation is literally being present and witnessing. Like I said, you can literally meditate when your sister or your brother says something that's mean to you, and you're witnessing yourself. You're witnessing yourself go through all the emotions and maybe wanting to smack them, maybe wanting to tell them I hate you, or maybe saying that didn't feel good. And you're witnessing it all, not reacting. You're witnessing, and then you're taking a deep breath, and then you're choosing. That's meditation. That's yoga. That's what all of this really is. So I want that to be very clear. You can't, there's no cheat code here, my friend. You have to go. The only way out is through. So you have to get into your body. That's why I teach all these different ways to get into your body. Like I said before, someone might not, if I'm working with a huge CEO, executive person that's always on the go, and I tell them, drop in and do this 20-minute meditation, do you think they're always going to say yes? Absolutely not. And am I going to not help that person because they can't? Absolutely not. That would be me creating a conditional reality of how you can free yourself, which is not true. There's always a way, but you know your way. So I don't hold that answer for you, right? You have to figure out, what is your meditation? What is your way?
Talk to us about cycling, and how do you combine that with meditation or all the rest of the work that you do?
Yeah. So why is cycling cool? Because cycling's low impact. That's why I like it, to be honest. I did a lot of sports when I was younger, so I think my body definitely felt that impact. But getting on a bike is cool, but you can do it running, you can do it doing anything. Why is the bike so fun? Why do I love it? Why do our community love it? Why is it so fun? Because, the type of frequency we are moving at on this bike, we're moving at a very high frequency, moving very quickly on these bikes. We're also moving with a lot of resistance on our bikes. So we're pushing, we're moving through literally all of the emotions in the body while we're moving to music, and while we're moving to different types of frequencies that are helping us drop into ourself. So when you're on the bike, what I love about it is that you become one with this machine, or this piece of bike beneath you. And it's almost as if you can do anything in the world. I mean, you're on this bike, you're moving your body, you're busting through the physical challenges that you're faced with, but I'm coaching you to be a witness of your mind, to be a witness of your emotion, to be a witness of what you're choosing or maybe what you're not choosing, because it's deeper than you being on the bike. The bike is the channel, just like the channel might be a moon circle, just like the channel might be a retreat that I have, just like the channel might be this conversation or this podcast. It's just a channel for people to receive the light that they can't hold within themselves yet. So the work that I do is I'm a conduit. I'm just channeling to you something that you can't yet see on your own. But you see it. You just can't see it on your own. You understand? So the bike is such a great channel, because do you know how many people spin? Do you know how many people get on these bikes and there's all these different people that they're letting coach them? But nobody is coaching them the way I am, because I am I, right? So I've developed this to be very unique. I've worked for SoulCycle, Cycle Bar. I've worked through gyms. I've taught the highest levels of cycling in this whole industry. I am aware of what people desire. And I think that what makes this different is that I'm giving them something they've never received before, which is leading them back to themselves and not making them dependent on a brand or a company. So you guys have to really understand, a lot of these things keep you coming back to their service because you're dependent on them. This is not that. You come because you want it or you don't. That doesn't affect me, right? So I'm teaching people literally how to be the creator in within their own life and not be dependent. The bike, you need a bike. So you are dependent on the bike. You get it? So like that's a choice, but you can do it on the mat. That's why I teach a line. That's why I teach these meditations. That's why I do these these moon circles all over the world. There's so many things that you can do to connect back to you that actually don't require anything outside of yourself except the bike and the cycling
That's awesome.
shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've taken one of her classes and they're pretty amazing.
Oh,
So
thank
I can
you.
attest to that.
Yeah.
So you talked to us about your background a bunch,
Yeah.
but I was just curious if you had like one moment in your life
Mm-hmm.
that you were sitting there and it kind of woke up one thing, right? And you
Gosh.
became just a little bit more spiritual or a little bit more you, right?
I have so many of those. I think I have them. I have them all the time. I have them every day. I swear to God. Like I'm always a student. I think my mind's always being blown open by what I'm witnessing and what I'm seeing more clearly each day. I think maybe the most recent one I've had in my life that's been very, very transformative was last year in my life. I think around literally this time of the year, my business changed, my relationships changed, my friendships changed, everything in my life changed. Yeah, I got into an accident, and I think after that, I had such a another transformative moment where it was like you can go down this rabbit hole of what you now have been, what has now come to my awareness, or I can continue to stay in this really comfortable life that I love. I loved working at SoulCycle. I loved my friendships. I loved where I was at, but it wasn't what I saw for myself now. I was like being called into something so much deeper, and it was really scary. And the people that have been with me in this past years of my life have really witnessed me committing to face every single fear I've had and to choose to follow my truth. And that has been the most transformative experience of my life, is learning that when you truly honor yourself, and like I said in the beginning of this episode, is like when you look back at your life, you can put the pieces together. And I had learned that I've always been doing this. I've always been fighting my fears and choosing to not let them stop me. I just wasn't aware because I was living in a really comfortable life where I was giving all of my power to SoulCycle, to the people, to the relationships, to what my friends needed. I wasn't giving anything to myself, but I wasn't aware of that. All these things were actually taking from me. They weren't filling me up, but I had thought that this is what I wanted, right? So that was probably the most transformative experience I've had recently, because then my whole life changed. I mean, the doors blew open. I finally really saw who I was and who I am, and chose to courageously follow that. And every single relationship in my life has changed. I do not have the same friends that I used to have. I have a couple that are still with me, and they're incredible people, and they've been able to grow with me. But a lot of the things I was attached to, and the people I loved, and the experiences I loved being a part of have changed drastically. And I think that was it was very challenging to go through as a human. Like, I think that was a really an emotional rebirth that I went through, and it taught me so much about who I am now. And also how important it is to, again, take care of my body, take care of my heart, take care of my mind, and really be a clear vessel so that I can live in harmony within myself, and then create a life that is in harmony with my truth rather than in harmony with my shadow, or in harmony with aspects of me that aren't truly who I am. And so that was in 2019, 2020. I think that was probably recently one of the most transformative experiences I've had.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
while you were talking, I'm thinking we all do that. We all spend time and energy to accommodate to other people and basically listen to their needs and do what we can do on our end to help, but we don't spend enough time to focus on ourselves.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking nowadays we are really busy, right? We get ourselves involved to everything.
Yeah.
Our responsibilities grow as we grow older, especially some people that try to build a family and get involved in different families. And how can we keep a consistent practice and keep focused on the alignment of the mind, body, and soul when there's so many things going on, so many distractions, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a lot of events going on. Our friends invite us to go here, to go there. How can we stay centered and focused on that?
Such a great question. And I think it's so important to be able to leave this podcast with things you can actually apply, mechanistic, to be honest, it's really about what you value. You have to create value within yourself. You have to really get to the point in your life where you understand that you are your greatest investment. And you have to really believe that and know that. Because until you do, things will not change. But when you truly understand that you are the most valuable one, your own healing heals the planet. Your own changes help everybody change. Your energy increasing helps you give more to people outside of you. You can't give if you're depleted. And when you truly honor yourself, the people in your life that truly love you unconditionally will always support you. And that's what I experienced in this transformation, was like witnessing what unconditional love really was and how much I didn't have that in my life. I had a lot of conditional things, and I think a lot of people might have that too. If you're having trouble in investing in yourself and valuing yourself, it's because you have a lot of cords connected to other people. And that's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. You have a great heart. But when you truly recognize how worthy you are and how special you are and how much you matter, you will no longer ever put something secondary that's for your good. You will always fill up your cup first in the morning. You will always make time. You will always do it because you know who you are and you know how much you matter. And if you're on your journey of still like, okay, well, I want to do that, but I can't, witness what you can't. Witness what you're valuing. Just witness and notice with love. And when you're ready, trust that you will be able to make the change. It's also okay if you're not ready yet. We sometimes can get in a really hard cycle with ourselves when we're just not ready. We're just not ready. And you might not be ready to honor yourself. You might not, and that's okay. Can you notice that with love and recognize what you're playing in? Recognize what you are honoring. Recognize what you are valuing, what you are giving energy to, without attachment, so that you can lovingly make the change. Because trust me, when you look at your life and you're like, wait, I don't really want to value that. I don't want to do that. You'll then make the change. So it's really about doing this with love. If you want to make a change, you have to be able to observe yourself with love and detach from what you've been valuing more than you've been valuing yourself, and then be willing to do whatever is required with love.
And don't be so hard on yourself, right? There's a lot of times that we notice so many things that we do, and it goes back to regret and all of that, like looking at our old self, our new self with the lower frequencies, the higher frequencies, and then you can go into that whole cycle, like you said earlier, that rabbit hole where instead of growing, right, and expanding, you end up doing the opposite.
Yeah, give yourself some patience. Think about how long you've been living this way. I mean, your body has been conditioned for years to believe what it's believed, to do what it's been doing, to think the way you think. So this is not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen when you continuously choose to do this in every now moment. I've been through many things. I have my wisdom's developed so much, but I'm still dealing with this every day. I'm always met with something, for me to become the creator with, and it's not a bad thing. That's the human still learning how to let go of that paradigm, right? You can value yourself today and give yourself energy today, and then tomorrow you can have a moment where maybe you lay on the couch all day and you don't do anything, right? This is not about right or wrong. There's no like, because you do it, you get it right every day, and then you don't do it tomorrow, then you don't do it the next day, you have to go back to zero. Like, not at all. You just have to be willing to notice in every moment. Just notice yourself in every moment. And trust me, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like a lot if you're just beginning, but you're always noticing something is my point. It takes the same amount of energy to be lost in your mental activity than it does to actually be present in your body. You just don't realize it yet, or you haven't become aware of it yet, but it literally is physics. It takes the same amount of energy. You're doing it anyway. So when you can become aware of this, the physics of life, it helps you really, what you used before the word logical, it helps you really get clear. Because remember, your brain wants to process, it wants to understand. So if you're getting upset with yourself because maybe you're not making the change, that's because your brain's trying to process, why aren't you making the change? Do you get it? So it's so much why, which is not going to solve the problem, like we said. It's choosing to step out of that rabbit hole. It's choosing to step out of that flow or stream of energy with love, and then choose what you want to step into. And so if you're taking something away from this today, it's like really understanding that you are the most valuable thing. Your energy, your thoughts, whatever you're thinking and doing and choosing is so important. It holds all the value. And if you want to start making changes in your life, you have to invest in different habits. You have to invest in different ways of thinking. You have to invest in different ways of feeling things that are uncomfortable in your life. And it might be different at first. You might get it great. And then there might be moments where you feel like, you don't have it all together. And that's the journey. Are you going to give up? Or are you going to continuously come back to yourself? And even if you fall off the bandwagon or whatever, you're still looking at it as, it's okay. Just can you notice and notice and then choose to invest in a better choice and a better, and when I use the word better, make the choice that feels more aligned for your heart. Always come into resonance. Resonance is something you feel in your body. It's not going to be in your mind. So it's okay if you're still making these choices or if it's challenging. Just notice what is challenging. Notice the story you're telling yourself. Notice what you're focusing on and investing in. And as you become aware, trust me, you will eventually then channel your energy into the choice that feels right for you because you're aware.
This is such good information. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate your time and everything you've been sharing with us.
Such a gift. I'm so happy. Such a pleasure.
I was just thinking before we close today, if we can just recap and focus on maybe 3 things that our audience can focus on if it's something that they want to work through. If it's they're in the beginning of their journey, in the middle. I'm sure this journey doesn't really end, right?
Yes,
it's a
it does not. That's
battle.
great. That's a great takeaway.
So yeah, if there's just 3 things you can share with us, and I would love to have you back.
Oh my gosh, of course.
To talk more. There's so many other topics we can dive into.
1,000%. I would love to. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, so you guys, I feel like what's really important to take away, because we're talking about the mind, the body, and the soul, which are really the parts of us, the aspects of us that we're working with in our are creating our reality every day. And so how do you create alignment? How do you bring your mind, your body, and soul back into alignment? How do you start this work? How do you begin if you've never stepped on and you're just like, what do I do? You first have to remember, start by what you're observing, okay? Start with what you're observing. Start to notice what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing. Simple. Ask yourself this question. Out of your mind, your body, and soul, what feels most out of alignment? Start there. Start very simply. If it's your body, start to move your body. If it's your emotions, start to feel what's coming up for you. If it's your mind, start to notice the beliefs and the narratives that you're telling yourself, okay? And as you start to notice, that's the first thing, really notice. You're going to then be able to observe what you are noticing. I can see it differently now that I'm aware. When you can see something fully, you can then detach from it and not choose it again. So you're going to observe, you're going to notice what you're observing, and then you're going to make a choice. 3 things. Observing. What feels most out of alignment? My mind, my body, or soul? My body. Okay, now I'm going to observe what is going on in my body. And then I'm going to make a choice. Okay, what am I going to do differently? Am I going to get up? Am I going to sit in this story? Am I going to hang out here and live this life? Am I ready to make a change? Do I need to just whatever, right? So look at yourself very simply. And without judgment is the key word, you guys. When we're holding judgment, we're going to get stuck in that cycle, like you said before, of the regret, the story, whatever. So look at this. Observe it. Ask yourself that question, what feels most out of alignment? Notice what is causing you to be out of alignment, what is causing you to feel that way in that space, that aspect of you, that body of energy, and then make a choice. Make a choice that's going to direct your energy in a more valuable way. Literally make the choice that's going to increase your energy, that's going to make you feel more free and expansive. And when you're able to do that work, you'll be more mindful, you're going to become more energetic, and naturally you'll be more embodied. And you won't have to really ask yourself all the time what feels out of alignment. You'll just feel. You'll feel what's going on in your body. You'll notice what's going on in your mind. You'll notice what's going on in your heart. And you'll start to just become this conscious person who is aware of their energy. And you'll start to be able to integrate it naturally because you're allowing yourself to feel. You're trusting your body to do all this work because you know how it's designed. We talked about the 3 energy centers in your body, the emotional systems, the mental system, and the physical system. You're aware. Your body knows how to do it. All you have to do is trust yourself to feel it and become aware of what's running the program. And once you do that, you make a choice and you continuously practice that choice over and over and over. You will start to create and literally fire new energy in your body and create a new program within yourself. And then before you know it, your life is going to start to reflect what you truly are. It's going to reflect your true resonance, and you're going to actually live the life you were born to live because you're listening to your higher self, which is your highest aspect inside of you.
Right. And I know that's something that we hear a lot, but trust the process, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, however it is,
yeah.
if you tune in, it's going to guide you there. No matter how long it takes. And like I said, it might take forever, right?
Yeah.
We just keep discovering ourselves.
Yeah, and also know that we're in a quantum field, so change can happen instantly. It doesn't have to take forever. It can happen whenever you choose to do it. So really understand this is about you being the creator, you getting to set the terms and conditions, not waiting to see what's going to happen. That's the old model of reality. And again, this is a very big conversation, so I'll keep it short. But the old model of reality is the Newtonian world, where you wait for a change to happen. You wait for someone to tell you you're healthy. You wait for someone to give you the money for you to buy the house. You wait for this person to arrive in your life for you to feel whole and feel love. And we're talking about the quantum model of reality. That's what I live. That's what I teach. That's what everything is about. That is when you actually create a result before you get one.
What you can take away from this episode is that you can come into alignment through different ways that suit you. Whether that's meditation, physical work, dancing, reading, and others. Spiritual work has a lot of dimensions, and there's no specific path you need to take. What I took away is that the energy that puts you in that thought pattern is not the same that gets you out of it. So if you have the power to rewire your brain and get out of the pattern that does not serve you. If you want to start today, all you need to do is start by observing to see what feels out of alignment. Is it your mind or body? Start noticing the narratives and stories you tell yourself, and then decide which action you will take today to move forward. Good luck with your journey, conscious creators. All you need to do is focus in the moment. To learn more about Namaste City and this podcast, please visit namastecitylife.com and feel free to drop us a message by visiting the Contact Us page. You can follow Namaste City on Instagram or Facebook. If you have not already done so, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Thanks for listening to No More Distractions by Namaste City, hosted by me, Sonia. Today's episode guest was Charlie Sage from Project Align. You can connect to her personal Instagram account at IamCharlieSage and her community at Project Align, or visit www.IamCharlieSage.com. The audio production and web application services was done by Technology, spelled with a K. If you're in need of tech help like me, go to technology.works. Technology that just works. It's there for you when you need it. This episode was recorded at Sweven Podcast Studios in Hoboken, New Jersey. Join us next month for another episode of No More Distractions.